Patrick McNair, and I'm your host of This Is Real. This is Raleigh. So welcome. Thank you for joining us for This Is Real. This is Raleigh. And today we have a special guest. We have Miss Ava Allen here joining us all the way from North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride. And we're going to have just a quick discussion about Raleigh, about life, about being a student, and how things are going for her in her freshman year at North Carolina A&T. But first, Ava, welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I am good.
Good?
Yeah, pretty good.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you for allowing us to interview you today about Raleigh, about life, about student affairs, whatever you have going on. But I appreciate the time that you have dedicated to come out and share with us. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Ava.
Well, I'm a freshman in college. This is my first year at North Carolina A&T.
All right.
I'm a dancer.
Okay.
I enjoy dancing. I've been dancing for 13 years. I'm also an engineer. I have a little bit of both creativity, but also that STEM that I really enjoy. My favorite is robotic engineering, but I'm going to also major in architectural engineering, but currently I'm majoring in professional theater with concentration in technology, so production.
Okay. So what type of dancing are you focused on?
I've done everything. I've focused more on ballet, pointe, jazz, musical theater, but I've done tap, hip-hop, salsa, ballroom, modern, denim, all of that. I've done a lot.
Which one do you like the best?
The best? Probably musical theater.
Okay. Why? Like Broadway? That's like Broadway type stuff?
Yeah, it's like Broadway. I really enjoy musical theater because it's very, you don't really know what's going to come with it. You can do just about anything. You can be dancing fast, slow, emotional, non-emotional, like no music. You can do anything with it, and I really enjoy that. You never know what kind of costume you put in with like the design of it and like with a set, which maybe dancing with props and all that. I really enjoy it. There's really no limit to it.
Okay.
Which you don't really know. I like that.
You like the unknown.
Yeah, I really enjoy that when it comes to that one.
All right. And you said you've been dancing for about 13 years. What got you into dance?
My mom.
Okay.
I started out with praise dance and doing choir at church.
Okay. And
then my mom refused to let me do soccer or like softball, none of that stuff, or track. She didn't want to be that kind of mom sitting on the heat. Yeah, so I started dancing when I was like 5. Did a little bit, did the course, a little jazz, ballet, tap, little routine. Enjoyed it. And then my mom was like, you can't dance your whole life. You have to do something else. So then I did basketball and volleyball. Loved it. I did basketball for 1 year. I did volleyball for 3. And then went back to dance. I still danced over the summer. Went back over the summer. But then when I got to middle school, I started doing more STEM and engineering stuff, and I really enjoyed engineering and like building. So then I started doing camps, and it started evening out, but I still do dance. I dance everywhere, all the time.
Where do you think that desire, that interest for STEM came from?
I don't know. I think it came from my middle school teacher. I was in class. It was this 6th grade maybe. And I really just enjoy building, and she would call me her little engineering queen because I was like really good at it. It was better than everyone else.
Okay.
I was better, and like I was like more focused. And I was just very creative, and she just liked the ideas that I had. And when I told her that I wanted to go into like robotics and build robots and like prosthetics, she was like, "Yeah, do that," because there's not many girls and like especially Black women in that field. So like that was very pushed on me.
Okay. So at A&T, in that particular discipline in engineering, I imagine because it's an HBCU, there are other Black females in the program with you. But would you say it's still heavily male?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still, A&T is an HBCU, so it has a lot of, I do see more Black students there, but there are still a lot of other people of color, so mostly Indians. There are a lot.
Did you say other people of color?
It's other people of color.
Oh, okay. Other people of color.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said other people color.
Oh no, other people of color. Because I couldn't think of like besides Black people. I'm trying to think, but I know that there's not.
Other minorities.
Yeah,
Okay.
and luckily, well, not luckily, but there's not many white people I have to come across, which is not a bad thing. But I like seeing just other minorities getting a chance to do something that people thought we couldn't. And so, unfortunately, there really aren't a lot of girls in there, but I don't know, I feel like that gives me an advantage. I like being in a room where I have to prove my worth, even though I feel like I shouldn't have to. I don't know, I like that drive. I like working harder than expected.
Okay. So how are you liking A&T so far?
I like it.
You like it?
A&T is A&T.
Okay.
I've never been to other HBCUs, but like my mom went to Winston, and it's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen Central. I've been on Central's campus. It's not like that. A&T is A&T.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. So I'm a graduate of A&T.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I have a master's degree in information technology at
Okay.
A&T, but I didn't get the on-campus experience that you are currently involved in. So mine was online. So I don't have that same perspective as you. But even when I went on campus for my orientation and the graduation, so I experienced what you were experiencing,
Mm-hmm.
where there are a lot of other minorities that are there that make up the population because they see the value of
Mm-hmm.
an A&T. It really is a very prestigious university and a lot of benefit to going there,
Yeah.
even though it is an HBCU. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. Glad you're enjoying
Yeah,
it.
one of my top reasons, or I think surprising to other people, but one of my real genuine reasons to want to go to A&T is the network. I know how many connections, even though it's an HBCU, they can get a lot from A&T, and they provide a lot of network opportunities, and I want that, and I refuse to go to a PWI. I refused. That was I didn't want to at all. And while I know I probably could have gone to state and had just the same amount of reputable network or just reputable people that have gone there, and I could have gotten internships or connections from, I was I really want to go to an HBCU, and A&T was the top of my list.
And rightfully so.
Yes.
And rightfully so. So let's talk about some other things. So I heard you say that one of your roots in dancing came from your praise dancing and in church.
Mm-hmm.
So are you currently attending a church at A&T? No?
No.
All right. But there's something that still grounds you, I'm sure, because anybody that spent any amount of time in church growing up,
Mm-hmm.
there's still something inside of them that helps center them.
Yes.
And so let's talk about that real quickly. So your faith, whatever that is, your spirituality, whatever that is, how has that helped to keep you grounded, keep you focused, keep you engaged, or keep going?
I think that it's definitely helped. I've started to using my spirituality and my relationship with God and praying and reading the Bible has kind of helped as a centered point of that's kind of my meditation, or that's kind of I use that as my me moments when I'm overstressed, when I'm stressed out, or when a lot's going on. I kind of just turn to that and just center myself and know that at the end of the day God's got me, and that I'm gonna be okay.
You're going to be all right?
I'm gonna be okay. As long as I got God in myself, I'm be okay.
All right.
That's all that matters.
So you talked about NC State, and we talked about A&T. Last year NC State had a rash of suicides
Mm-hmm.
on campus. Students get there, they get overwhelmed, maybe. They have a lot of stuff going on. They just don't know where they fit in, and they choose to make that decision to end it all,
Mm-hmm.
right? When I don't think A&T has that same problem with the amount of suicides that NC State had, and most colleges don't. But I imagine that young people all over have difficulties adjusting to life in this world of college or this university, this big thing, this big pond, and I'm a small fish. Have you, in your experience, in your time at A&T, come across other classmates that you've had a chance to maybe mentor, guide, talk to help get them past some of those rough spots?
A little. I don't really talk to a lot of people by decision, but from the people that I do talk to, we do converse. It's not an awkward conversation to have. It's not an uncomfortable one, but it's not really one that's talked about. We don't really just sit down with each other and be how are y'all doing? How are you really doing? And when we do, we open up, of course, but it's just like most of the time people don't really want advice, or from what I have experienced, sometimes I don't necessarily want advice at that moment. I more just want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that that kind of helps a lot with at least my group of friends and people that I talk to. Sometimes, like, if they'll ask you if they want advice, but most of the time they just want to be heard. They just want someone to hear what's going on with them and to know that, like, they have someone that they can go to.
Would you say that there is an abundance of places where students can go for that sounding board? Or does the university offer enough places
Yeah.
or resources for students to go just to get that sounding board?
Yes. A&T, as much as it you would think it's a big campus, it's not really that big. And there's probably somewhere you can go to. There's multiple places. We have Murphy Hall, which is the council building, but you also have student services, but then you also have your mentors, because we can get mentors on campus in your department or outside of your department. There are many people, even your professors, you can go to. They're really open, and you can build that connection, and they're willing to be there if you allow them to be there.
Mm-hmm. But I can imagine that that's a difficult conversation, a difficult place to get to for somebody who's
Right.
away from home,
Mm-hmm.
thousands of miles away. This is the first experience being exposed to this big world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're feeling some kind of way. You know, it probably takes a little bit of courage just to get up enough nerve to say, hey, you know, dean or professor or counselor, you know, I need help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can imagine that's a struggle. So let's back up a little bit. Young African-American young lady in STEM, and there's a lot of initiatives out there to get more black girls, black girl code, black engineers, black women engineers, black girl engineers, those types of things. Have you found yourself networking with any of those programs or opportunities?
No, because there really isn't a because. It's really just a no. But I also have that theater component.
Mm-hmm.
And while I do love engineering, sometimes I just don't feel like I fit in necessarily with strictly just engineers and the STEM people,
Mm-hmm.
and just people in STEM, because I'm just like, I still admire and I have a love for what y'all do, but my theater background and that dance background pulls so strong that sometimes I'm just like, I don't,
That's where your
nah.
heart's at. That's where your passion is at.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had a choice, you woke up tomorrow and rolled out of bed, and your dream job was on the other side of the door. You get up, you brush your teeth, you get dressed, you go outside that door. What are you walking into?
Production. Theater production.
Theater production.
It's going to be theater production.
No pay. That's okay.
That's okay.
That's your passion. And you're going to get there.
As long as I can design and put people on stage
But
and make them look great.
It's your dream job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
If
you
I
want
can
to
make
do.
people look great on stage and we all have a good time, that's all that matters to me.
All right. So you said that's your minor, or is that your major?
That's my major.
That's your
I
major.
want a double major.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a lot.
So have you already started networking with people in that field?
Yes.
Okay.
I have my mentor. She works with NC Theater currently. She's an actress. She travels. She's also a teacher. But she's been with me since my freshman year. And I recently found out that one of my professors at A&T, they're really good friends. So she started getting me to talking to him, and he has basically kind of helped me say, this is what you need to do. And once you do it, I can help you. I got you where you need to be.
Okay. And so you've got a path.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to follow the plan.
Yep.
Got it. What would you say to, let me back up a little bit. A few weeks ago, there was an incident at Southeast Raleigh High School,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you have connection at Southeast Raleigh High School.
Yes.
All right, and it was an unfortunate incident where someone, lost their life
Mm-hmm.
at that high school. Because you're more connected, age-wise than I am,
Mm-hmm.
right, to that demographic. Put yourself in the shoes of a student at Southeast Raleigh High School, witnessing something like that, being around something like that. How does it happen? How does it happen that these young people are so angry that something like that, somebody goes to school right after Thanksgiving and loses their life?
We are in especially people my age, we're in a world where it's very hard to have that support or just people that you can genuinely trust that you know is going to be there for you. We are really just it's like there are so many people my age and younger really who it's themselves in the world. It's themselves against the world. They really feel like they don't have anybody else. And so they're constantly just fighting day by day for like, because they feel like they have to. They feel like that's the only way they're going to be able to get to the top and show that they are actually worth something. And they can prove to like people that I can do it to themselves. And a lot of people, they don't want to depend on other people. They're very independent, which isn't a bad thing. But then that means they don't know how to ask for help when needed. And they don't know how to, if they get themselves in trouble, they don't want to ask for help. They want to figure out how to get themselves out of it by themselves. And in this case, they try to ask for help, I'm assuming from what I've heard, and it wasn't enough. And they didn't have time to fix it before it got worse.
So I heard what you're saying. And as a parent, we'd like to think that we're doing everything that we can to support our kids, providing for them, making sure that they don't go through, what we went through as kids. I was bullied. I was the geeky nerd, quiet, right like a girl. I got bullied. But I never took a knife and tried to kill somebody. I never went looking for a gun to go shoot the people that were hitting me in my chest, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? I'm missing it. What's the difference? Why are kids nowadays so eager and so accepting to end somebody's life for peanuts? I'm going to call it peanuts.
I wish I could say I knew because I feel like when I was in high school, because I also went to Southeast, when I was there, everyone was always like, oh, class of 2024, 2027. Yeah, class 2024, class 2025, like, we're the best, we're the last best one. But when as I started getting older, I'm realizing there really isn't a best one necessarily, but you can kind of tell how, from what I've seen between the people who are still there that I know versus people who are now freshmen in college, there really is no longer that much support in kids younger than me. A lot of kids, I don't think the teachers are giving up, but a lot of kids, I don't know why I don't know if it's social media, I don't know if it's music, I don't know if it's just where they grew up at or where they live. I don't know what it is, but it's weird. It's like you had my class, we were doing good, and then all of a sudden, because that never happened when I was there. The 4 years that I was there, nothing, we had maybe our threats or something, or our whatever their code reds, but we never got anywhere we never got nowhere near that bad.
Yeah.
So I wish I could, I don't know.
Yeah. So as someone going out in society, growing and blossoming and, going to be one of those responsible adults, what can you do as you take the stage, take the mantle, and move out in society? Do you even feel that pressure? Do you even feel that need that, okay, Ava needs to step up and she's going to have to, create this foundation, or she's going to have to be a mentor to some young girls back in the community? Or, is there that desire, that need, or even that thought in your brain that says, hey, I need to reach back and do something? Or are you just like, you know what, they can sink or swim, but I'm gone?
It's not a little bit of both. I don't have the pressure or the absolute need that absolutely, at the end of the day, I gotta go back and help them. But it's a want. I want to help other girls like me get to where they can succeed. and prove their self-worth and be happy where they are. But at the end of the day, I know that where I'm at right now, I don't have the necessary, I don't have the ability. I have the ability, but I want to be successful with myself first. And to do that, I kind of just got to focus on myself.
Yeah.
And then when I get to that point of I can go back and help, I definitely will. But I'm not there emotionally, mentally, physically for myself right now.
Mm-hmm. So you've ridden an airplane before?
Yeah, first time. Only once.
Only once?
Yeah. I
All
went to Aruba.
Okay. Did you have fun?
I enjoyed it. I loved it. Going back.
Okay. So when you're on an airplane and the flight attendant tells you the safety brief,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they say if the oxygen mask falls and you're with a small
Mm-hmm.
kid, what are you supposed to do? You've only experienced it once or twice, but you have to put your mask on first before you can help somebody else. The same principles apply for what you just said. In order for you to go back and help somebody else in that community or another community or anyone, you have to establish yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great, great, great lesson to learn in life, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in a job, or whether it be in a mentor capacity in society. In order for you to help anybody out in substance, you have to be okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, I applaud you on getting there already. So I know we have a short amount of time here, but I have a few other questions. So this is new for you. This is the first time you ever been on a podcast?
Yes.
All right. So do you currently watch any podcasts, or do you tune in or subscribe to any podcasts?
I do. My favorite are murder mysteries.
All right.
That's about it. I listen to them, but I like the ones that kind of tell the story. I like the reality. No, I don't. I don't know. I don't really like the ones where it's like people are just talking to talk in no sense.
Yeah.
I enjoy it because I like the realism about it. I like hearing people's true thoughts, but then sometimes you're like, okay, next. But I love murder stories.
Okay.
Because it's already happened, and so someone's retelling the story, but then it's just like, it makes me think. And because it's already happened, because it's usually past tense, it's usually like a couple of years ago, or maybe like 50, 80, a very long time ago. It's like crazy to think that like people are doing those things back in like 80 years ago. Why were y'all doing, like, what? It's really interesting. It's kind of, yeah.
So I listen to old time radio. I have satellite radio, and I listen to old time radio. And, you know, people get in my vehicle when I'm listening to old time radio, and they think, what is he listening to? My mama especially. Turn that mess off. But it's the old radio shows where you have to use your imagination. You can make the character look like what they sound like in your brain, and you can kind of follow along. So it really challenges, to me, it challenges your mind to think. It makes you, you know, kind of interject yourself into that whole thing. And now you've created this program yourself, and you can enjoy it on on a whole nother level. But it makes you, to me, it makes your brain wake up a little bit more. So your first semester went okay?
Yeah.
All right. Looking forward to going back?
I am.
Okay.
I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to, but not like, when I was in high school, I did IB. IB it's a lot. It's basically college, but like 10 times worse. I was writing 12-page papers. I've wrote many of those. I wrote 20-page papers. I've done all. So I really wasn't stressed or worried about the workload in college, but it's very just crazy to see that you can go somewhere in the middle, like it's in Greensboro, it's in the town, it's in the city, but like A&T is just, college is its own world. It kind of like, whenever I have to come home or just go out somewhere else, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what the real world, this is just down the street. It's crazy to see how like, it's just enjoy, like I like just being in my own little world without being in my own little world.
Gotcha. So being from Raleigh, growing up in Raleigh, everything is kind of centered around Raleigh, and you're away right now. Do you think that you would come back to Raleigh to live once you finish your degree, your studies, or are you looking to go somewhere else? Does Raleigh have what you want in your production life?
technically, yes and no.
Okay.
I've always, not always, for a long point in time, I was like, yeah, when I leave college, I don't want to go back to Raleigh. Until I left Raleigh, and I was like, oh, wait, Raleigh actually kind of had a lot of stuff. Like, Raleigh actually like, oh, wait, we pretty good down there. I enjoyed it down there. And so there is a lot of production-based things that I can do down there to get started.
Mm-hmm.
But I know at the end of the day, I'm probably going to end up in maybe, like, New York or California or maybe New York or California or Georgia. I could end up in Georgia. I know that I'm not going to be able to be successful and stay in Raleigh at the same time. I can get started in Raleigh. I can do production companies that are here. But one of the internships that I was looking at is in New York.
Okay.
Not going because I don't want to go to New York. But I know that I'm going to end up down there eventually.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, it's not upsetting. It's just like, it's kind of surreal almost. I'm like.
So do you kind of wish that Raleigh had a bigger presence in the theater world, in production world? Maybe like a DPAC. You've been to DPAC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they bring big shows, big headliners here. I don't know what else is here. The Raleigh Little Theater. I don't know what
there's a little bit. You kind of have the American Dance Festival. That's more dance focused, but they still put on shows. Still be able to work with them. And you have the School of the Arts. They do just about anything arts related. You have DPAC and Raleigh Little Theater, North Carolina Theater. There's another one. That's the one.
So it's not bare.
Yeah, it's not like.
But it's just not on the level that you're looking to break into. Okay, all right. And you've seen the Wilmington film scene where they bringing in big movies sometimes. So there are things in the area. Yeah. But just not enough for you to break into it on the level that you're looking for yet.
No, because I really want to travel with it. Okay. I want to be one of those travel production who goes to DPAC and who goes to like other states. I want to travel with them. Okay. And so I know that for some point in time in my life, I'm not going to be just living in one city. I'm going to be living just about all over the world.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. And I'm excited for it. I'm enjoying it. Like, I really want to do that. But it's just kind of like, as much as I would love to stay in Raleigh, I know that I can't.
It's okay.
It's okay.
That's all right. You can always come back.
I can always come back.
Yeah. All right. So, Ava, thank you for joining us today. Again, much success in your journey at A&T. Aggie Pride. Don't ever forget where you come from. And if there's anything that we can ever do for you, you make sure you reach out.
Okay.
So, audience, thank you guys for joining us today, and we'll tune in for the next episode. Have a good day.